the link to get to this planning and self-study, the link is on SharePoint Insider, and you go down to useful links, and it's at the bottom. Don't use the link on the home page. That's a different, there's lots of watermark stuff, and that's not the right thing. So you want to make sure that you are in planning and self-study. Yeah, useful links, and all the way down, it'll say SACS COC in parentheses. So just make sure that you go to that site first. All right, so this is what it should look like for you. My screens look a little different because I am godlike in this version of Watermark. It's the only place that I am. But you should, whenever you guys log in, and by the way, it's single sign-on, so it's your regular Blue Ridge sign-on. You don't have to memorize another password or anything. You should see something like this. Over the break, or right before the break, we put in the people who should be in charge, who will be in charge of entering this information. So when you log in, you should see this. You'll see your program. I have a demo program here. But we're going to break this up into steps. So the first thing we're going to do is add our mission statement. The second is we're going to enter our outcomes. And then the third step is create a curriculum map that sort of links all of your courses to your student learning outcomes. Later on, this is the setup, so that then later on at the end of the year, you can take your assessment results and start entering them in here. But we need to do this setup part first. Everyone's good? Okay. So first thing, I'm going to go to Add Mission. And you can see this is all pretty simple. It's just a text box. You'll type in, let's not do that. You'll type in whatever your mission is here. If you don't have a mission, now is a great time to create that. One thing about the mission statement, once you enter something, it's always there. So you can't completely delete it. You can revise it, you can change it, but Watermark is going to store that mission statement, and you'll just go in, edit, and select when you want that to start, like as of the 24-25 academic year, it'll start using that mission. So just be aware, if you mess up, you can edit it, but you can't ever delete it. So that'll be the first thing. You'll notice down here, further down, here's the outcomes. There are two tabs here. There are learning outcomes and there are success outcomes. For our assessment, like your program learning outcomes, it's under learning. If you have different outcomes for your program, like perhaps you have an enrollment goal or a retention goal, if you want, you can put those under success outcomes, but you don't have to put anything there. So if we go, and you're not going to have anything, most of you, maybe cosmetology might have some stuff entered, but you shouldn't have anything. This will be blank. And you'll go to Manage Outcomes. Okay, and I don't have anything here, so I'm going to create one. You'll just give it a short title. It should be something that is short, but that you can recognize it whenever you see it, because that's what's going to pop up, like on the curriculum map. So just something short here, and then in the outcome description, that's where you want to explain what it is that the outcome is, like actually do the full outcome. Students will be able to, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So that'll be in the description. You also have an option if you wanted to add tags. Bloom's taxonomy tags are already loaded in there, but if you wanted to create your own, you could. Again, all of this is optional. The tags, the outcomes part is not. We'd really prefer that you do that. So I'm going to just do, will it let me write? I'm not used to such fancy technology. Will that work?
Do you need I'll type it here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just put outcome 1. And if you could just put description, just so we'll have something there. Oops. Okay, and that's good enough for now. So I'm going to click Create, and now you see here's outcome 1. Right? If I needed to add more, I go back to Create New Outcome. Then I go back to the similar screen, enter the information in the text box. If I want to edit, I go to these 3 buttons over here. Menu pops up. Edit, you have multiple options here. If you have delete on your screen, please don't ever use it. I'm hoping that doesn't pop up for you. No offense. But so you're going to have 3 options. You can edit. That's if, like, when we just entered this and we had like a capital U in there, we had a typo. That's really when you want to use edit. It's just a minor change. You're not really changing anything about the substance of the outcome. When you hit edit, it's going to overwrite what you've already written. If you go to revise, those are more significant changes. And it's going to store your original outcome, and then it's going to create a new one. And you'll have the option of picking when you want this new version to start being used, right? And archive, it just takes it out of play completely. It's still in the system, but it's gone. You can't use it anymore. Most likely you will use the edit option most frequently. And if you have questions about that, then please let me know. Just whatever, don't click delete. Okay, don't ever click delete on anything. Call me first, and I'll help you. Okay, so you'll enter all of your outcomes here. So we're doing mission, then we're entering outcomes. I'm going to click done. Okay. And you can see down here, it'll show up. At this point, I can go into manage measures. And so here, I can add how I'm assessing outcome 1. Just click the button. Again, we've got a box here. You'll enter a title, like research report. You'll select a method. These are all, I can't change these unfortunately, so you have to pick what's on the list. I think most everything that we do should be somewhere on this list. You see assignments, capstones, exams, performance, portfolio, presentations. So lots of different things you can pick. If you don't see what matches what you're doing, then just hit other. So don't stress about that. I can't change any of the options there. And then again, you'll enter the description of what you're doing. The description of what you're doing should be detailed enough so that someone who doesn't know your program will know exactly what it is that you're doing and when you're doing it. Right? So it doesn't need to be a novel, but it needs to be enough that you imagine that your reader is someone who is not familiar with your program and what you're doing. So, but if they read that, then they would understand, oh, they gave a, I'm thinking political science, they gave a statistical problem and asked students to interpret the results of a regression, right? And so, this is, administered in the research course in the spring semester and so on and so forth, right? But enough that someone understands what's going on. This part is often lacking, the description of the measure, so just pay attention to that. You can also link it to a course, okay? And I have a random assortment of courses that I put in my demo program, but you can go ahead and link it to a course. You'll enter your target or kind of what, your baseline. I don't know, do we use target language? Yeah, okay. So you'll want to enter your target here, like, 90% of students will be able to blah, blah, blah. And then this is really cool. You can attach documents here. So if you have a rubric, you can attach it. If you have the actual problem or that you're administering, you can attach it. And so that's a nice way to provide evidence and a little bit more context when we're going through and reading. The only thing I will caution you about, do not put anything that can link back to a student. So no personal information. Everything should be aggregate. There should be no names, nothing that would ever link back to a student. Okay? Does that make sense? This program is really just clicking on a button and typing in text in a text box. So that is creating measures. I'm gonna see. Done. All right, and so when you do that, all of that will be listed under your outcomes. Okay, so that's the first big chunk of work to do. Is that, everyone's good with that? If you run into questions, you can always contact me. Email's usually the best way. Okay, so now you have that. Now you're ready. You can create a curriculum map. Okay, and that's the fun part. If you're already here, you can click on curriculum. Okay, I've got 14 courses in my program. You can see there they are listed. Whenever you go into your program, if you see a course that is not there that you need, let me know. If there's a course that you don't need that shouldn't be there, let me know. And I can adjust that for you. So we're going to go to Create New Map. Okay. It will automatically import your outcomes. So everything you've already entered will show up here. You do have an option with this pencil. If you wanted to go back and add another outcome or edit, you can get back into outcomes by clicking this pencil. So there are multiple ways to get into stuff. But if you go ahead and enter your outcomes, they're already going to populate here. Okay, so I've got my outcome, I've got my list of courses, and I can scroll through to see all of them. Okay. And let's say outcome 1 is tied to accounting. Okay. All I'm going to do is hit a plus sign to add. This box is going to come up, and you can see, all right, it's outcome 1. I'm mapping it to accounting 120. This part is important. Make sure that this little toggle right here is set to yes. Okay. Then you can select whether you are introducing, reinforcing, or mastering, and you can select more than one. You also have the option here, if you didn't enter a measure before, you can go ahead and enter a measure. And so now you can see, now that we've filled in that box, introduce, reinforce is there. And so if you have other additional classes where that outcome is being taught, you go ahead and add all of those. Same method, all you have to do is just click on it and fill in this stuff, and you're done. And you'll do that for all of your outcomes. Whatever you have measures entered in, this box, it'll put this in. There'll be this little black box with an A, and that'll indicate that that's a course where you are assessing the outcome. So all of that will be in here and mapped out. We're not going to use Excel anymore. It'll all be laid out in here for you.